And one of the things that I do when I can is either listen to Gary Vee or I try to read various articles that folks sent me. And this one here came from Ray. Ray, thank you very much for this. This one's a big deal. As the headline says, JP Morgan sold $440 million of securitized mortgage loans that were non-QM, non-qualified mortgage, meaning they didn't tick all the boxes to get Freddie and Fannie backing. This is interesting because, again, as a real estate investor, which is who I am, one of the things that I have felt heading into 2020 is that mortgage originators are going to have to increasingly get creative to continue their growth in loans, right? With very, very low interest rates, it's going to be tough for them to, add to their bottom line, hit expectations from Wall Street, and all of those other things. So, what do they have to do? They have to increase the pool of applicants that they can give yes answers to. Now, in this case, right, J.P. Morgan, did roughly, let's call it $500 million to jumbo borrowers with pristine credit, great assets, without signed tax returns. Right, what really qualified these bonds or these mortgages into this bond were the size. Right, FHA has their limits on how much they will back in a purchase. So these folks were obviously in the top 10% probably of income, of assets. They got yes answers from JP Morgan, and then what they did is they bundled up and sold them in the open market. What's interesting is, this is, the first one, and the first one is always interesting. It's probably the most profitable. I think more and more banks are going to have to do this. I certainly hope it doesn't repeat what we saw in the run up through '06, where they kept just giving more and more people yes answers. Subprime credit, Alt A, were very commonly thrown around. And these were folks doing liar loans and signature loans and things of that nature that really created the artificial bubble that we all paid for. So I don't think we're going that direction. I hope our memory is long enough not to do that. But I also believe lending is going to get easier. I've said that now for probably a month. I believe low rates are going to hurt bank earnings since their stocks, I think, are down in bear market territory already. But I think what's going to happen is they're going to get more aggressive in looking for ways to create yes answers. And in this case, they went out and found people who wanted to buy big homes, have big mortgages, and they gave it to them, right? To give you a scale, Alta A and subprime mortgages back in '06 was almost a trillion with a T business, right? Just shy of $1 trillion. This is 440 million sounds interesting, but that's $500 million, right? That's a big difference between $500 million and 1 trillion. So we're nowhere close to that. But again, this is a trend. I believe banks are going to look for ways to say yes answers to both homeowners, but more importantly, real estate investors. I still believe real estate investors are getting too many no answers, right? Hey, you have more than 4, can't borrow. Oh, you've got more than 10, can't borrow. I really believe more and more banks are going to figure it out. I believe portfolio loans will become more, apparent and easier to get in 2020. I think banks are going to be struggling to generate profits, and one of the ways they can do that is by creating more interesting loan packages for real estate investors. I think especially if we have an uptick in unemployment, I believe you're going to see owner occupants fall off again, which is going to hurt banks, right? Banks, lots of their mortgages go to owner occupants. So if what I see coming comes to fruition, low rates, less demand, I believe these kinds of mortgages, non-qualified mortgages or non-QMs that JP Morgan has just packaged up and sold, I believe they're going to happen more and more. And these are things that we should watch for. So if you see these out there, do me a favor, send me a link, send me an email. Ray, again, thanks for the article. It was a great read, and I think it's a sign of things to come. I think this is generally good news for real estate investors. I think we're going to have more options I think they're going to be things that we could do that are good for us, and I think that should be good for all of our business. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. And Ray, again, thank you very much. Take care.